This is the perfect camera rig. It has absolutely everything I could possibly want, and it's evenly balanced from front to back with the center of gravity directly in the middle. So much so that I can pick it up with one finger and it stays perfectly balanced. Let me show you how to make it. Now what you see in front of me is everything I use to rig out my camera. Most of this can be found on B&H, some of it is directly from Amazon, but between the two of them, you'll be able to find absolutely everything. And if you want to pick it up for yourself, I'll have links for everything down in the description of this video. But let's start with the brains of the entire system, my a7S III. This camera I truly think is one of the most slept on cameras in Sony's lineup. And it's kind of crazy because when it came out, you had rave reviews. Gerald Undone called it a technical masterpiece, but it was quickly overshadowed by the FX3 when that released. However, the internals of these two cameras are exactly the same. The FX3 does have a couple more features like Cine EI, but as long as you shoot at your base ISO and S-Log3 with this camera, which is 640 and 12,800, you're gonna get the exact same image. And with recent updates, they've added in lens breathing compensation, DCI 4K, and true 24 frames per second recording. Because these were overshadowed on the used market, you could pick them up for a fraction of the cost new, and as long as you use it correctly, you're going to get the same exact image that you would with an FX3. So first things first, we're going to be using a small rig cage. This one fits the a7S III and the a7 IV. You just kind of adjust this little slider. And the cool thing about this entire kit is that all of the tools you need to put it together are included in the kit. You don't need a multi-tool or anything like that. You have the tools in the actual pieces of gear to put all of this together. So we're gonna pop the a7S III in right here. And now you'll take this small screw that's included on the side and you'll screw it through the eyelet of the camera strap. Doing this gives you two secured points of contact, which means that the cage is not gonna wobble around on you. So next we need to build out the base. I'm gonna be using this Falcam base plate. It comes with these two 15mm rod holders as well, and I'm just gonna attach that to the bottom of the rig. Now I will get to it in a second, but my small rig handle actually includes a magnetized Allen wrench, and this is the exact size you need for all of this. So this one tool, which is basically just like hanging out in the side of here, is what you use to assemble the entire rig. Now that base plate is secure, and we can go ahead and install our two 15mm 8-inch carbon fiber rods from Small Rig. Now when it comes to base plates, you could just end here, but I personally like attaching this Pro-Am Arca Swiss base plate stand. So the reason I like this so much is because all of my tripods are Arca Swiss, and this has the Arca Swiss standard on the bottom for quick in and out of my tripods. And it also doubles as a stand, having these little rubber feet. So whenever it's attached, I can put the camera down and not worry about it scratching what's underneath it. Next, I have the Small Rig V-Lock battery plate. Now this just allows me to attach a V-mount battery. It doesn't have any of the electric connections. It's simply just a metal plate, but because of the kind of V-mount batteries I used, I really find that that's all I need. Flip your a7S III screen out first. That way you still have access to it to change any kind of settings. Now we're ready to attach our V-mount, and this is probably the biggest hack of this entire video, the K&F 99 watt V-mount battery. This thing currently costs $120 on Amazon, and it rivals that of the Small Rig VB99 Pro, which is around $250. So literally less than half the cost, and it has pretty much all of the same features. You get a D-tap port on the side. On the top, you get DC 12 volt. You get two USB-Cs and a USB-A, and the USB-C is 240 watts, so you could charge a 16-inch M4 Max MacBook Pro with no problem. You just take it and attach it to the plate like so. Make sure it's secured, and it does put a little weight on the back, so it's time to start building out the front. For the lens, I'm gonna be putting on the Tamron 28-75 G2 f2.8. I think this lens is probably the best bang for your buck lens you can get. The build quality is much better than the Gen 1, and you're getting a 2.8 lens, which is pretty much the 24-70 range. This is an all-around lens that you could use to film pretty much whatever you want. I think whenever I'm doing client work and it's not real estate, this is probably on the camera 95% of the time if I don't want to go with like a prime or actual cine lenses. So This lens right here for the price point, I still don't think you're able to beat it. And because it's been out for a little bit, you can also find them on the used market pretty affordably. And you can even find the Gen 1, which is still a great lens on the used market for like ridiculous prices. Boom, now the weight is evened out a little bit more. But we're not done with the lens. We're gonna be putting on the SmallRig Matte Box Mini or Light. I don't remember, it'll be in the description. Honestly, matte boxes aren't really necessary. They can block out some of the like lens flares from the side that you would normally use a lens hood for. You're able to put extra slides in it, but most people who are putting this on, they just do it because it looks cool. And it does offer a little bit of protection for your lens. And that's why we're gonna be putting it on. I don't have any actual filters for this slide, but I'm planning on getting some. And if I have it, I'm gonna use it. So it comes with this adapter ring that's gonna step up 67 millimeters to what is needed for the matte box. And one of the cool things about this setup in particular is that you can still use your circular filters. So this is kind of the base plate for my filter kit. I'm gonna go ahead and attach that on here. And if I need to use ND or mist or anything like that, I can just stick them on the inside and use an ND as I normally would. I put that on and make sure it's lined up. Let's go ahead and open the flag. Next, we're gonna be installing our top handle. This is a SmallRig. There's a theme going on if you can't tell. This is their wooden NATO handle. I've had this for a while. I really like this. And because it is NATO, something I keep on all of my cages is this small little NATO adapter on the top. So if I want to put my handle on, I can just slide it on like that, tighten it down, and now my handle is good to go. For monitors, I'm gonna be using the FeelWorld F5 Pro. This is a 6-inch touch monitor. FeelWorld sent this out to me and I've absolutely loved it. It doesn't have internal recording or something like that, like an Atomos Ninja 5, but it's just such a lightweight monitor, and it honestly packs a punch for what it can do at the price point. And I'm not just recommending this because FeelWorld sent it out to me. I've had other companies send me out monitors. I just genuinely love the touch functionality of this monitor because a lot of these monitors at this price point, the buttons up here, they're just not the best feeling. It kind of takes you out of it. You always have to kind of look up and remember where the buttons are. With this, really the only thing you have to remember is where the menu button is and the power button. Other than that, you can do everything from touch. Now let's flip it around because we're gonna be putting on the Rode NTG video mic. This is great to capture scratch audio, or if you're doing more of a run and gun, you can just get better audio than you'd capture out of the camera itself. Now the last thing we need to do is just connect the rest of the cables. So I have this coiled HDMI cable. I don't remember the brand, but it works really well for video. So I like to take the cable and run it around the top handle and plug it in here. This just keeps the cable out of the way. I could run it under or kind of in this gap right here, but with HDMI ports, they're so finicky. I don't want to put any extra tension on this. And I mean, honestly, when you're going to grab it, you just kind of put your finger under the cable and it's not the biggest deal to me. For power, we're going to be using this NPF to D-Tap from Condor Blue. Now, I like to use this over batteries because one, you get to use the battery directly from the V-mount, but two, you don't have to worry about an extra cable running into your ports on the side here if you wanted to use a battery and connect with USB-C. You can do that, but I mean, this is like $20. I highly recommend it, and it's just gonna be one less cable plugging into the side of your camera, which is gonna keep the form factor a little bit more together. And if you have D-Tap, use D-Tap. I like to take this cable from the bottom and run it through the middle like this, and then take it right back up the side here and plug in. The last thing, I'm gonna use this USB-A to USB-C cable to power on the monitor. Now, why not USB-C to USB-C or even, DC voltage? The main reason is I might find myself in a situation where I need a USB-C or I need a DC volt. I'm more than likely not gonna need USB-A for anything. So if I can just keep these ports open and still get the job done using a less desired port, I think it makes sense to do that. And I like to run this cable underneath the cage here, again, just to kind of keep everything tidy and plug it directly into the monitor. Now the last thing, do not forget, take that Allen wrench and pop it right back in for when you need to take everything apart. And there you go, there's my A7S III fully rigged out how I'd use it on a client shoot. It's honestly a fairly small package. It's got a decent weight to it. And let me show you again, if I need to sit it down with the plate on the bottom, it's perfectly balanced, it's not going anywhere, it's secure on the table. If I need to secure it to a tripod, I have the Arca Swiss. The coolest thing of all, which I mentioned in the intro, I'll use one finger, it is perfectly balanced. So this is just everything I could possibly want out of a camera rig. Anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. Again, if you wanna build out this rig for yourself, I'll have links to absolutely everything in the description. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, subscribe to see more videos like this, and if you have any questions about the rig or anything you might wanna change out, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear your opinion. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.